Hello and Merry Christmas, everyone! My name is Jessie and this is Reliable Roots, and in today's video we are doing some holiday baking. I hope you are having a wonderful holiday season, and we are going to get started making some challah, some toffee, and some fudge. But before we do, I wanted to give a shout out over to Kanani at Little Honeybee Home. She is the winner of my Tombow marker giveaway, so congratulations, Kanani, and be sure to check out her channel in the description below. Okay, so to start off with, we are making some homemade toffee. Now, years ago when I was working, I had a friend who used to always come to the office and give everyone some homemade toffee, and I begged and begged and begged her for her recipe, and she never would give it to me because it was a family secret. However, I found this recipe online and it tastes just like hers. Don't tell her I said that, but it does. So I'm leaving this recipe in the description box below, as always, with all the other recipes. And the only thing you have to be careful with on this recipe is that once this reaches about 280 degrees, keep an eye on it because it burns really quickly. This is actually the second batch that I'm making because unfortunately my first batch had to go in the trash can because I burnt it, and once it's burnt you just can't salvage that. But once it reaches that deep caramel color and is about 290 degrees, you're going to take it off the heat and spread it out on some buttered parchment paper. And then you'll sprinkle on some chocolate chips, and as the toffee cools, it will harden while melting the chocolate chips at the same time. And once the chocolate has melted just a little bit, you can easily spread that over the cooled off toffee. It's cooled just enough so that you can spread it without it just going everywhere. And then I'm just going to sprinkle my chopped nuts on top, and after everything has cooled off completely, I will break that into bits. And guys, I can't even describe how good this was. It took us only a couple days to eat this whole thing, I'm ashamed to say, but it just brings back such warm, comforting memories of growing up in my grandmother's house and eating such wonderful homemade treats at Christmas time. And next up is challah bread. Now, my mother-in-law used to have this wonderful tradition that she would make a bunch of different breads for Christmas morning from all over the world. She'd make like a Danish bread and a Polish bread, but one of the breads she always used to make was challah, and I got into making this a few years ago because it's ridiculously simple to make and it's really good. It's not too sweet, but it is sweet enough that it's kind of a dessert bread. It is traditional with Hanukkah, and being that today is the last day of Hanukkah, I thought it would be a great time to make it. But I do think that I will be making this on Christmas Eve so I can wake up Christmas morning and eat that for breakfast with some butter and jam. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you guys eat for breakfast on Christmas Day. I do wonder if they are ever going to actually come up with Smell-O-Vision or an app where you can actually smell the things that you are looking at from your computer screen. I wish they would. Now would be a good time because this bread smells so good, especially like on Christmas morning. To me, there's nothing better than the smell of freshly baked bread. And you cut it open and it's warm on the inside, and you add just a little bit of butter and jam, and it's just absolutely heavenly. I cannot wait to make this again. It was so good. And next up, my final recipe is a peppermint fudge. I did this all in the microwave, and I'm not gonna lie, this was kind of a last minute gift idea. because I take care of a bunch of kids on Wednesday nights at the church, and I was like, oh, you know, I might want to make them like little goodie bags right before Christmas. So to make this recipe, all I did was put in a microwave safe bowl some white chocolate chips, a few tablespoons of sweetened condensed milk, and some peppermint extract, and I slowly heated that until it all melted together. And then I lined my pan with tin foil and buttered that just to make sure I wouldn't have any problems getting the fudge out. And I also did the same thing with the dark chocolate chips, and I did not have any normal colored dark chocolate chips, which is why I'm using colorful ones, but of course it just all blended together to make regular looking chocolate. So if you have the regular ones, of course those work great. So I put that layer in first, and then followed by the white chocolate chip layer on top, and then I added the crushed candy canes and stuck that in the fridge for a few hours, and when it came out it had hardened up, and then I just cut it into squares, and voila! And that about wraps up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a very happy holiday, and I will see you next time. Bye!